Let's move forward to tonight, 10 o'clock out at the Fortress. The Vegas Golden Knights versus Dallas. Finally, somebody won on their home ice. And how about this? Not a lot of respect for the home ice tonight. A de facto pick-em here and maybe even a slight favorite for Dallas tonight. What happens tonight, Casey, between Dallas and Vegas?
Yeah, this one's going to be a tough one. I had this going to 7 games, actually just like the Bruins-Leafs series, because both of these teams are extraordinarily talented. Where Dallas is edging at the moment is that they're forcing the Vegas Golden Knights forward units to play a lot of two-way hockey. They can't release their forwards to focus on scoring because Dallas just has too much speed. Their breakout speed alone is just causing a lot of issues. And then you've got leaders on the back end that can manage defensively and help them out. They did bolster their blue line in the offseason or coming up to the trade deadline, which has kind of proven to be very, very helpful for them. And Ottinger has been quite tremendous. A lot of big saves, as we've seen in the memes world. So the Dallas Stars are in every position possible to take this tonight. I just don't think that the Golden Knights are going to make it that easy. I think some of their guys who weren't involved in the last game are going to be a lot more involved in getting scoring going. Barbashev, he has a tremendous amount of hits. He's got to kind of shift back into that scoring column and help his team push the puck forward and not get so focused and locked in playing a defensive role. Hurdle was a little too silent last time. And if you guys think about it, this last game came down to one very stupid penalty. You can't have a leader in Pietrangelo that ends up in the box and giving up a goal in that really, really tight contest. The margin for error is next to none here. So I think the Golden Knights can swing a win tonight, but I also do, again, have seen this going to Game 7 since the beginning. Logan Thomas, in my opinion, better goalie here, a lot more lockdown. So I think we're going to see a closer game. I like the under 5.5 value here. I also like both of these teams to pick up a goal in the first period because they've been so consistent at coming out hot and trying to wear out the opposing goalie fast and play a lot more defense in that last stretch of the game. Third period is big defensive battle. First period is swinging for those goals. So Golden Knights have every chance to do it tonight.
The Stars, the first team in this series, back in game number 5 to win on home ice. Can Vegas match that tonight in Sin City to keep this series and their season alive? Vancouver, Casey, could not ride the momentum of stealing Game 4 in Nashville, scoring in the final 6 seconds of regulation, and then the OT winner back at home in Vancouver in game number 5. But the Canucks still have the series lead and have the potential to clinch tonight on the road back in Smashville. However, the Preds are the favorites, minus 132 on home ice. Will we see 7 between Vancouver and Nashville?
I think we'll see 7 if the Canucks can't step up their depth scoring. When you're looking at what the Predators have done so well in this series, not only has their defense eliminating scoring chances and shots on goal versus a Canucks team that was typically hot in that category, they averaged 28 shots on goal in the regular season. They've been minimized to 18 shots on goal in playoffs. But the Predators also edge in the fact that they have 11 contributing scorers versus the Canucks' 6 contributing scorers. And one main guy in that category is Besser, who has 4 of their goals throughout the series. They've got to get some other guys involved, and they have to continue to step up defensively. Of course, their goaltending issue has probably played a large factor here. They have to change their defensive style a little bit depending on who's behind them, and they are forced to play a lot more defense than focus on scoring. Their special teams aren't that solid throughout the playoff series, so I think the Canucks can close this one out. I think that they're fully aware of who they need to kind of contain. Forsberg is just impossible. He's all over the ice when it comes to hits, blocking shots, setting up his teammates, and finding that impossible goal when need be. But Besser and JT Miller and Peterson hasn't really been as sharp. So if they aren't so stressed out about the goaltending behind them and they can kind of get back into their normal roles, I think that the Canucks can close this one out. But if the Preds have depth scoring tonight and they're on home ice and the energy is there, we're seeing a Game 7.
Still waiting for the NHL brackets to fill out for round number 2, but one thing we do know, the Rangers and the Hurricanes will be taking on each other. Now, hear me out on this. The Rangers, with more points than anybody in the NHL, are underdogs in the series coming up against Carolina to the tune of a minus 162 price. Looking at the series moving forward, is that price right for the Carolina Hurricanes, or is it a Rangers series for you, Casey?
I'm leaning towards Carolina right now. And a big factor to that, I'm not going to take away from what the Rangers have done tremendously. I'm not going to take away from Shesterkin. But your first round in playoffs was against a team with a minus 134 goal differential. They can't score. Their defense started to kind of crumble under the pressure. They didn't have much depth in their deep pairings past Carlson and company. So at that point, they didn't face as much pressure as the Carolina Hurricanes did. And Carolina didn't play their best hockey versus the Islanders, but they went up against a team that can score a bit more. They can challenge them defensively a bit more. And if Anderson can't get the job done, Kochetkov was just as brilliant throughout the season. And the 2 wins that the Rangers grabbed in the regular season were not against Anderson. So we're going to see a much different goalie matchup. As long as these teams stay off special teams, because the Rangers are solid on the power play and with shorthanded goals, Carolina can edge. They've got the depth, and they're hungry to make a point.
The Canes, the Cup favorites at this moment, plus 390 to win the Stanley Cup here in 2024. Casey Hudson, we appreciate your time on this Friday to set the weekend stage in the Stanley Cup postseason. Have a great weekend as well.